Welcome to From Shelves to the Shores, brought to you by the Choctawhatchee Basin Alliance and AmeriCorps Northwest Florida Environmental Stewards.
Hello explorers, and welcome to your lesson 3 of From Shelves to the Shores. Today we're going to learn about marine debris, what it is, why it's bad, and what you can do to help. So what is marine debris? It's pretty simple. It's just trash that gets in our water. Marine debris can be as big as something like this chair, or it can be as small as something like this candy wrapper. So here's a few examples of things we just picked up at this park. Some items were already in the water and others were on the shore. And with our next rain, they would have been washed into the water also. So the next question is, why is marine debris bad? Marine debris is bad for many reasons. The first one is it can hurt our economy. We depend on tourists over here around our waters. And do you think tourists are going to want to come to beaches and play in water that's full of trash like this? Probably not. It can also hurt animals and people. This fish hook was just laying on the ground and could have easily hurt anyone just walking by. Also, animals can eat marine debris that's in the water.
In this jar of bay water, we have some plastic wrap and a torn up plastic grocery bag. These items can easily be mistaken for food by wildlife, including sea turtles.
Marine debris is also bad because it can trap or entangle wildlife, especially from things like this fishing line. Let's go do an activity to see how that happens.
We've been talking about why marine debris is bad. One of those reasons is that animals can get entangled in it. We're going to play a little game to demonstrate exactly how that happens. So if you have a rubber band, go ahead and grab it. So our rubber band is going to be fishing line, and our hand is going to be a bird. So what you're going to need to do is hold up your hand with your palm facing out, kind of like you're waving at somebody. Take the rubber band and hook it down towards the bottom of your thumb, and then kind of pull it back a little bit, but not too much. You don't want to break it. Twist it 2 times, and then hook it around your pinky all the way towards the bottom. So when you're done, it looks like this. Okay? Now take your other hand, put it behind your back, and without using your mouth or rubbing your hand up against your body, try to get the rubber band off your hand. And it's not going to be easy. It's going to get a little frustrating maybe, because it just won't come off, no matter how hard you try. Try shaking, you can try anything, but it's just on there really good. And this is how animals feel, because they don't have hands to try to get something off of them. I can't do it. I can't get it off. Maybe you can. Now, I'm sure most of you couldn't get this rubber band off your hand, but I bet you a couple of you did. But this rubber band is nice and flexible. Imagine if it was this fishing line that's really hard. Imagine if you were a bird and it was wrapped around your wing and you couldn't fly away from predators. Or if you were a dolphin and it was wrapped around your bill and you couldn't eat. This is the reason why marine debris is so dangerous for wild animals.
Hey guys, so today we're going to be learning about marine debris and we're going to be reading my favorite book. It's called What's Up with Blanca, the Plastic Pirate. What's Up with Blanca, the Plastic Pirate? Hi, I'm Blanca. I live here where it's almost always sunny and every day is like summer. That's me with my mom and dad. We all look different. It's a cool story. Tell you about it later. The story I'm about to tell you happened at the beach by our house. It's a great, amazing adventure story. I was playing in the surf when I saw something shiny in the water. Hey, Dad, look, what's that floating over there? Together, we waded out to the shiny floaty thing. When we saw what it was, it made me very sad. It was a fish with plastic wrapped around it, and it had died. Blanca, this is usually what happens to plastic. It ends up in the ocean or in the landfill. But Dad, you said most people recycle like we do. Doesn't recycling keep the plastic from going into the ocean and killing the fish? Yes, Blanca, recycling does help our ecosystem, the land, the ocean, and even our air. But you see, not everyone recycles, and recycling isn't the answer. It helps, but not completely. Plastic is a pollutant. Too much of it in our environment has a horrible effect on everything, especially wildlife and wildlife habitats, like the ocean and the fish that you found. Unfortunately, almost everything people buy at the store and use at home is made from plastic. I thought about what Dad said. What was I going to do? Something. I had to do something. Even though I'm little and I have a small voice, I think I can be bigger and make my voice louder. I decided right then and there that I was going to try to help the wildlife and their habitats. That's when my adventure really started. I was Blanca, the plastic pirate. I went around everywhere looking for plastic. First, I started at the beach since that's where I found the fish. Then something amazing happened. When other people saw me collecting plastic and other pieces of trash, they started helping me. And now we all meet up every Saturday to clean the beach. I told my teacher about what I learned at the beach when I went back to school. Blanca, I'm impressed. You started a beach cleanup project. In fact, I think we are all going to help recycle. We'll start with our very own school. Then he had special recycling bins delivered to every classroom so we could separate paper, plastic, aluminum, glass, and foam. After that, another fantastic thing happened. The mayor of our city called my mom and asked if I would come to a town hall meeting to talk about my recycling initiatives. Mom said, a town hall is where all the people from our city get together with elected public officials to discuss the city's challenges. Everyone has a chance to present their ideas and opinions about those challenges. Then there's a vote based on all the different ideas and opinions. Initiative means when you have an idea and you start making plans to make your idea come true. I think the mayor wants to know about Blanca the Plastic Pirate's initiatives and how the rest of the city can help your ideas come true. Finally, I would be able to tell the whole city about recycling. Mostly, I couldn't wait to tell them about my teacher and all the recycling bins he ordered for my school. So my mom and dad took me into the city for the town hall meeting. My teacher was there, and so were all my friends from the beach cleanup project. I made myself big and loud. Guess what? There was a vote, and now we have recycling bins in every school. We have recycling bins all around the city. We even have recycling bins at the beaches. And after I talked about my recycling initiative at the town hall, we have more plastic pirates on the beach every Saturday. What a great adventure. The end.
Hi, I'm Marcella, and today we're going to talk about pollution. What do you think pollution is? Pollution is something that hurts the environment or makes it dirty. It can occur on the ground, in the water, or even in the air. And typically, humans cause pollution. How can you tell if something's polluted? We can sometimes use our senses to tell if something's polluted, whether it smells bad or looks dirty, but not always. Pollution is like germs. We have germs on our hands, it makes us sick, but can we see it? No. We have to wash our hands to get rid of those germs. Germs are like pollution because pollution can harm the environment, make us sick, but we can't always see it. Pollution often hides. Today we're going to play hide and seek with pollution. Can you tell if this is polluted? No. It looks clear, it doesn't smell bad. What would happen if something accidentally spilled in this glass of water? Would it be polluted? How could you tell? We could use our sense of sight or smell in order to tell, or maybe not. Sometimes you can see pollution. You can visually see that this water is no longer clean. I'm gonna pour some vinegar into this jar. We can't see the pollution, but it smells. That's another way that you can tell that something's polluted. It might smell bad. I'm adding some salt to our last jar. It's a little cloudy at first, but now I can't see it. I can't smell anything bad, but it's still there. Should I taste it? No. We never want to taste anything because we don't know whether or not something's polluted. Thanks for playing pollution hide and seek with me. We learned today that we can't always see or smell pollution, but it can still be present in our environment.
Here we have a marine debris timeline. This timeline shows how long it takes for common marine debris items to break down in the water. Let's play a game. For this game, we're going to try to place these items on the marine debris timeline. We have a tin can, newspaper, part of a cardboard box, a milk carton, monofilament, also known as fishing line, an aluminum can, paper towel, a styrofoam cup, a piece of plywood, a glass jar, a diaper, an apple core, a six-pack ring, cigarette butts, and a wool sock. Let's start at the beginning of the timeline. What piece of marine debris do you think will take 2 to 4 weeks to break down? The paper towel. It is made from trees and is thin and delicate, so it does not take very long to break down. Next on the timeline is 6 weeks. What piece of marine debris will take 6 weeks to break down? The newspaper. It's made out of trees like the paper towel, but it's thicker and less delicate. Next on the timeline is 2 months. What piece of marine debris will take 2 months to break down? The apple core. Food breaks down quickly, even in the water. Next on the timeline is 2 months once again. What piece of marine debris will take 2 months to break down? The cardboard box. This is made out of trees, but is much thicker and tougher than the previous paper products we looked at. Next on the timeline is 6 months. What piece of marine debris will take 6 months to break down? The milk carton. Milk cartons are made out of paper board coated with a waterproof plastic. If this was only made out of plastic like the gallon milk jugs, it would take much longer to break down. Next on the timeline is 1 to 3 years. What piece of marine debris will take 1 to 3 years to break down? The plywood. Plywood is a type of wood that is used in construction. Next on the timeline is 1 to 5 years. What piece of marine debris will take 1 to 5 years to break down? The wool sock. Wool comes from sheep, so is a natural material and will break down fairly quickly. If this sock was made out of polyester, it would take much longer to break down because polyester is a type of plastic. Next on the timeline is 10 to 12 years. What piece of marine debris will take 10 to 12 years to break down? Cigarette butts. The fibers in cigarettes are made out of a type of plastic and take a long time to break down. Unfortunately, cigarette butts are always the #1 item found on beach cleanups every year. Next on the timeline is 50 years. What piece of marine debris will take 50 years to break down? A tin can. A can like this is what our canned vegetables come in. Metal is a strong material, so it takes a long time to break down. Next on the timeline is 75 years. What piece of marine debris will take 75 years to break down? A styrofoam cup. Styrofoam is a type of plastic and cannot be recycled. Next on the timeline is 200 years. What piece of marine debris will take 200 years to break down? An aluminum can, like this soda can. This type of metal takes a lot longer to break down than our tin cans because they do not rust. Next on the timeline is 400 years. What piece of marine debris will take 400 years to break down? Plastic six-pack rings. It's important if you buy anything that has a six-pack ring to cut it up into pieces before you throw it away. Otherwise, wildlife could be entangled and harmed, just like with fishing line. Next on the timeline is 450 years. What piece of marine debris will take 450 years to break down? A disposable diaper. Diapers are made to absorb water without breaking down. A lot of disposable diapers are made out of plastic fibers. Next on the timeline is 600 years. What piece of marine debris will take 600 years to break down? Monofilament. It's also known as fishing line. This is made out of plastic and is super strong. We know from the entanglement game we played that it can be very dangerous for wildlife if not disposed of properly. The last part of our timeline is undetermined, which means there's no way to tell how long this item will take to break down. The last marine debris item that is left is our glass jar. Glass is not allowed in places like our beaches because while it may never go away, it can easily break and then be harmful to both humans and wildlife.
So what can we do about marine debris? One big way that we can help reduce marine debris is by participating in local beach cleanups. In our area, there are many that are throughout the year that you can participate in, but you can also, with your family, do a beach cleanup whenever you want. Another way that you can help is by always throwing away your trash. Now, it's important to use trash cans with a lid so that we don't have our trash bags or other trash get blown back into the water. To everyone that goes fishing, make sure to not let your old fishing line end up in our waterways. Did you know that a fishing line can be recycled? CBA has these recycled containers for your old fishing line. They're at many pier locations and different beach locations. Another way to reduce marine debris is by reduce, reuse, and recycle. A main issue with marine debris is one-time use plastics. Use it once and then throw it away, but hopefully recycle. Here's an example of replacements for those one-time use plastics. I have this reusable cup with a reusable straw. You can use these bamboo utensils to replace those one-time use plastic utensils. I have a reusable sandwich bag, and you can take a cloth bag to the grocery store to eliminate those plastic grocery bags. Now let's go learn how to make our very own reusable bag.
One way we can reduce marine debris is by reusing or repurposing old items around our house. Today we are going to repurpose an old t-shirt into a reusable bag. This not only keeps the t-shirt from becoming trash, but also reduces the amount of plastic grocery bags that we use. To do this, you will need one old t-shirt and a pair of scissors. Step number 1 is to cut off the sleeves of your t-shirt, like this. When you're done, your t-shirt should look just like ours here. Step number 2 will be to cut out the neckline of your t-shirt. This will be the opening for your bag, so the more you cut now, the larger your opening will be. Once you're done cutting, your shirt should look like ours here. Now we need to turn our t-shirt inside out and lay it flat on the table. Our next step is to cut a slit in both sides of our t-shirt. If you want your bag to be larger, then you should make a shorter cut, and if you want your bag to be smaller, then you should make a longer cut. When you're done making your slits, you can fold the bottom of your t-shirt up to see where the bottom of your bag will be. Next, we will cut slits about 1 inch wide and the same length as the ones you've already cut, all the way across the bottom of our t-shirt. Yours will look similar to this when you're done. Our final step is to tie the front and back pieces of your t-shirt together with 2 or 3 knots. Once you've tied all of your pieces together, the very last step is to turn your bag back right side out.
Be sure to go to the library to pick up 2 fun pages. The first is our Seagrass Kids page. It has lots of information about seagrass that lives in the Choctawhatchee Bay. On the back, we have a couple of fun games for you. There's also a drawing of a blue crab that's for you to have fun and decorate and be creative with. Thank you for joining us for this lesson of From Shelves to the Shores.
Until next time, keep exploring.
Thank you for joining us for this lesson of From Shelves to the Shores. Feel free to contact us with any questions you have or to share pictures of you doing the experiment or the craft from today's lesson. You can also check out our website or join us on Instagram or Facebook to learn more about what CBA is doing for the Bay.